I gave people all the stuff they really needed. Social Security checks, utility bills, TV guide.
I want a TV guidance counselor. TV guidance counselor. Staying up to watch all night, and everything's gonna be alright with my TV guidance counselor.
Hello and welcome to TV Guidance Counselor. I am Ken Reed, your TV Guidance Counselor, and this is the show where each and every week since February 14th, 2014, we welcome an interesting person to the show to talk about growing up, television, their experiences either working in front of the camera or behind the camera, stuff they watched, and growing up and all those kinds of things. And I know I already said growing up. Usually using a TV Guide magazine from my personal collection as the inspiration to our conversation, this week being no exception there. Last week was our year in review for 2016, 10 years in the rears, which was real weird. Those are always strange, was extra weird, given sort of the state of the world at the moment. But if you'd like to discuss that, feel free to email me at ken@ikenread.com or tvguidancecounselor@gmail.com, or why not become a patron? $5 or more a month, you'd get a PDF of each week's TV guide that we discuss the TV guide, which we do this week. And you can talk to me there. You can talk to other listeners there, patreon.com/TV Guidance Counselor. But anyway, that was 2016. We'll put that in the books. On to 2026. We are in week 3 of February. I hope you guys had a nice Valentine's Day. We're month and a half into the year, so we're slowly getting through it. And to help you get through it, this is a super fun episode. So my guest this week is Alex Steed. Alex is a podcaster. He co-hosts the You Are Good pod. He does zines, a photographer. He manages people. He has a record label called Hi-O Culture, Hi-O Culture, which is really funny. And is just generally an awesome dude, fellow New Englander, although he lives in LA now, and super smart, fun guy. And I wanted to have him on the show for a while, so I was very happy that he had a chance to sit down and talk to me. So there go my dogs, so you better listen. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode of TV Guidance Counselor with my guest, Alex Steed.
TV is my friend, and it has been always there for me in time of need.
Live via satellite from sunny Los Angeles. Alex, how are you, sir?
Hello, Ken. Thank you so much for having me. I didn't realize how emotional an activity this would be, though I guess it's in the title. So
it's true. The counseling part doesn't always come into play. Some people think it's just a clever pun, but yeah, that does oddly happen. There's a lot of people who will be like, I'll do this show, but I didn't watch that much TV. And they'll start looking through the guide and be like, good God, yes, I did. And then they'll have all these memories, like repressed memories.
I was really watching it at this time, apparently, because there wasn't anything unfamiliar.
This was June 27th to July 3rd, 1992. And I think you gave me 6 selections. And I picked this one for 2 reasons. One, it was like on the top of the pile to scan. But 2, this is the week of my 12th birthday.
Oh, wow.
So I found that interesting.
Wow. That'll do it.
And we don't do enough summer issues. And summer is, especially for I think we're of similar age-ish. But at this time, that was like a free-for-all. You could stay up late. They would show all kinds of weird stuff. You kind of never knew what you were going to get. So I'm always up for a summer issue. And you mentioned I inadvertently sent you 2 links because I sent you the link to the Frasier episode guy that did a couple weeks ago. And you looked at that one too, which I won't make you do both, but you said one of the best nights of TV ever was in that.
Yeah, I saw. I mean, it was really crazy. Like this. Okay, so I'm just going to go. It was insane. Saturday night of that, I think that was in September. Yep. These are some things that were on just that night. So earlier on, even before the prime time, we had the episode of Rugrats where the gang tries to help Chucky through his scary haircut. We had Dead at 21, the 1-season Jack Noseworthy show that was on MTV. It
comes up almost every week. All of us know Jack Noseworthy's name. We shouldn't.
Right. And it's I think, and we're going to get to this about something that comes up in the guide that we're going to go through, but my wife is 11 years younger than me, and sometimes like describing to her like getting information before the internet is always so funny. And so like you just had to wait for something to come up. And like to me, like I thought Jack Noseworthy was going to be huge, and then we just like saw him in the Brady Bunch movie, and like never again.
Event Horizon,
and then but I think he's like around. I think it was Event Horizon. I think he's doing some stuff, like he's working, but he's not. I'm not seeing him.
Do you remember who his equally amazingly named co-star in Dead at 21 was?
I don't.
Whip Hubley.
That's so amazing. People are from another time. And then we have so now we get into prime time. We have 2 back-to-back episodes of Empty Nest. One where Carol gets a job assisting a sexist reporter. The other one where Hillary Clinton is the guest star. Then Crocodile Dundee 2 is playing on TV at the same time They Live is playing. They describe They Live as aliens disguised as yuppies, which is hilarious. America's Most Wanted was on, which is not a thing I would be watching, but my dad would have been watching in the other room. Tales from the Crypt is back to back. And then on Snick, we had Clarissa Explains It All, Pete and Pete, Ren and Stimpy, Are You Afraid of the Dark, back to back. And then after, I would definitely have been watching Weird Science and Duckman. That night is...
That is a stack
formative.
Night. And that's not even getting to like Monster Vision or Drive-In Theater and then USA Up All Night, Saturday Night Live.
That night, I'm watching TV for 8 hours straight.
Yeah. So you had cable when you were growing up?
We had like a pretty limited package. Like I remember I'd go to like, I think like the only thing my family spent money on was a limited cable package. So I think we had like 35 channels. You're
in like kind of rural Maine, right? Like,
yeah, totally.
Would you get Canadian stuff?
Not via its own channel, but like I've always described watching, early Nickelodeon as like watching just like a long liminal space because everything was shot in Canada, but you thought it was American and you're like, something's off and I don't know what it is.
That's before I knew accents. And I was like, 2 things would happen. Whenever I'd see someone with a Boston accent on TV, I didn't know that's what it was, but I would be like, I literally would ask my parents, why are there real people on TV? Like it would be on People's Court or something. I'd be like, why come there's some real people on TV? And then Nickelodeon was the same thing. I'm like, these people all talk the same. I don't know why. But
what is it? We were like very familiar with an Ontario accent, but had no idea what was happening.
Yes,
it was very funny.
So you were able to get some limited cable up there, and you're getting USA Network, Nickelodeon.
Yeah, USA channel, USA Nickelodeon, and then Channel 11, the New York Super Station. Is that what that was? PIX. Those were just monsters in my life. Yeah, for sure.
You'd always see an ad for Cats on that when I was a kid.
Oh, always. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
It's terrifying.
Like, just terrifying choreography, and it almost felt like dinner theater. And I was like, who are these people? What is the lore?
Yeah.
I think I was like a full adult before I knew what Cats actually was.
Yeah.
It was just a weird commercial on PIX.
Because there was a thing, and I don't know if this was unique to like the New York area. We'd occasionally get them in Boston, but if there was a big musical or play, they would do a production of it with no audience, and they'd film it with like 3 cameras on film to have like clips for an ad instead of just showing it like a play. They'd shoot it like a movie. Cats, it was literally like in this black stage and people like being cats, and then it was just like Cats, and I'm like, I don't know what this is.
No information. They also, so this other side quest, I guess, is that I grew up in Maine, but my parents got divorced. My mom and my whole family's from Malden. So my mom went down to live in Malden, and I would then go down there and watch that collection of TV. And the biggest thing for me was public access free speech TV.
Yep.
Like I was like 11 years old and watched like an hour-long VHS tape special on how to reverse your circumcision using like weights.
So I grew up in Melrose.
Cool.
So one town over from Malden. And at this time, so the issue that we're going to look at here is 1982. I was working at MMTV, Melrose, Mass Television, our public
Amazing.
access station. And we would have like show exchanges with Salem, Lynn, and Malden. And there was a show called The Wrestling Insiders. That was like the big, I'm making air quotes, syndicated show that was on these things. And we'd have this guy named Tony Rumble on, the Boston
Amazing.
Brawler. And he had a show on Melrose Cable Access Television I cannot find a tape of, but it was him, and he'd wear like, you know, a Red Sox jersey, and he was like, what the hell, like that kind of guy. And his co-host was a guy named Bull Montana, who was an old wrestler who had serious brain trauma. And they would sit there and read the paper and talk about it. And it was the greatest show on earth.
That sounds perfect. That's perfect.
It was perfect.
That's a perfect show.
At one point, there was a guy who kept exposing himself to people in Melrose. So, like, it became this ongoing thing. I'll be like, Jesus, Bull, this guy's snapping his carrot again at the park. Right? And you'd be like, we need to stop this guy. And, like, I heard so many euphemisms just from this one show.
That's so beautiful. That's so important. That's important. That's my culture.
There's your lost media.
Yeah, that's my culture.
It was called the Rumble Seat. I forgot to mention.
I love it.
Yeah, Malden used to go to the New England Comics there in Malden. That was.
Oh yeah, for sure. I bought so many comics there. So many comics there. Absolutely. They conned my mother into buying for me the like the full like whole series of the Death of Superman, like in a like file folder box.
Yep.
It was just like full of that.
With the button and the badge and the armband.
Yeah, had the whole thing. Absolutely. Totally. I spent a lot of time at that shop and in that area with my lovely but at the time near do well cousin Marisa.
This will be the most niche discussion for a moment here. Were you going to that New England Comics when the manager was the narcoleptic guy who would fall asleep and people would steal everything? I think that's a yes.
Yeah, I've heard tell. That's very, very funny. Yeah, that's a specific retail reference I have not heard in at least 30 years.
I think I told a story of that on Risk once, and people were mad
That's
at me.
amazing.
Because I was like, there were a whole generation of kids in the Melrose Malden area that had trained their ear to when a certain level of breathing sounded more difficult, they would just steal anything they could and run. Like it was like an instinct. Oh, yeah. Poor guy.
That's remarkable.
So on that very specific micro experience note,
Beautiful.
We picked an issue. This is Phil Donahue. On the cover, Phil, America's father confessor, fesses up. 25 years with the man who started Tell All TV. It is astounding to me how nobody talks about or remembers Phil Donahue at this time, 2026. He never comes up.
Yeah. It's pretty wild. It's absolutely pretty wild.
Huge. He was like... I couldn't imagine a world where everyone didn't know Phil Donahue and watch it every day.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, he was kind of, it was weird because like in this article, he says that we are a tabloid and he's like, I own that. Like this is tabloid. And he was always such a funny figure because I think I was just so easily duped as a young person where I was like, well, he has like white hair and glasses.
Yeah,
like he's got to be serious.
Yeah.
But, you know, people talked about it like it was trash. I think had Springer never come along, people would talk about Phil Donahue. But like, I think like Springer was like such a force that it was hard.
The trash down to like a...
Yeah. And they were both progressive guys, which is very funny to me.
Yeah.
It's always very funny to me. Donahue was a Green Party guy, which is very funny.
It's funny that, didn't Jerry Springer was the mayor of Cincinnati and he got caught paying for a prostitute with a check?
Yeah. Yeah, I think
It was a check.
It was one of those.
I'll write you a check. But yeah, I think like Oprah, Geraldo, and Phil Donahue and Sally Jessy Raphael, those were like the four big ones. And they would be sleazy. Like, people forget, Oprah would do episodes that was like, I married Elvis Monster, Alien. Like, she did those.
Yeah, Oprah did not come into cult leader until the mid-90s.
Yeah, when they just forgot all that stuff she did. And that's because I think we had 200 other talk shows that were so much sleazier. It just automatically...
Yeah, we had Lisa.
Lisa,
You know,
Gordon Elliott.
Yeah.
Richard Bay, speaking of Channel 11, Richard Bay show.
Amazing.
It was like,
what was the woman who was like kind of her show was kind of normal, but a guy came on
Jenny Jones killed the
Jenny
other guy.
Jones, that's
Yes.
it. Yeah, killed the other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was so much. Like talk just became. There is an article, I think, in this one. I can't remember if it's in this one or the other one from '94 that is that talks about like because there was a resistance for real journalists to do talk stuff.
Yeah.
And it's talking about like how journalists can't, at this point, culturally or commercially turn down opportunities to do talk shows because this was a format that didn't really thrive before the late 80s. I mean, it was like just for scumbags.
And it was mostly local. So like Phil Donahue started
Right.
as a local show. Oprah started as a local show. Each market had their own sort of local daily talk show. We had one People Are Talking here that Tom Bergeron hosted, but it was just local.
Really?
Oh yeah. He hosted it. It was so,
Oh, yeah, because I remember it. Yeah, he was like a big personality. Then he went on to
yeah,
videos.
he was from
right?
New Hampshire.
Yeah,
He was a
yeah,
DJ in New Hampshire.
Amazing, yeah.
But yeah, he used Those People Are Talking, and I worked at WBZ, our NBC affiliate, when I was in college, and we would still get, for whatever reason, mail would still come for him, and the only thing that came every month with Tom Bergeron's name on it was Playgirl. So it must have been show prep or something, but every month we'd get Tom Bergeron's
They're like,
Playgirl.
keep it up.
Yeah.
This could lead to something.
So these were
That's amazing.
These like big, these people had gone national. So like Phil Donahue, Oprah, they were local and then had gone national, and that kind of dissolved the local in every market talk show and made everything sort of national around the late 80s.
Yeah, the thing like that people forget, you must cover this a lot here, is just like the gift that local programming was. And like, I think like probably the biggest, there's just so much consolidation. Who is at fault, whatever, like, Ted Turner was such a big part of it. But then like, I really think like the biggest villain in all of it is Vince McMahon, because talk about someone who through their quest for like personal domination and seemingly interpersonal domination and like professional domination just took the landscape of interesting and weird media that was every cluster of states had their own wrestling circuit that was captured on video and shot and sort of beamed into people's homes. And then it was turning, I love those eras of WWF and then eventually WWE or whatever. But like, it really lost a lot of weirdness because it got sucked into the Borg that was Vince McMahon Enterprises.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened with TV Guide. I always use that example, or breweries, local breweries. So I'm a big soda nerd. So like Coca-Cola bought up every local soda bottling plant so they could have the location to bottle Coke. But almost every single one of those plants had their own soda, like a special regional soda they made that Coke now owns the formula to all these, but doesn't make them because they literally just wanted the plant. So there's like, it's the same exact thing with McMahon. TV Guide was a series of unrelated magazines that the Philadelphia TV Guide bought up and put under one umbrella. So it was all sort of at the same time, these consolidations removing that sort of local flavor from stuff. And, the local stuff wasn't altruistic. Like we saw a bunch of cool stuff just because it was cheap for them to air. But it really does miss that flavor. Like it's not as weird.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Before we get to the listings here, I always like to point out the Ask TV Guide section, and they didn't do this for that long. The thing I love about this is that this was burning questions people needed the answer to before the internet.
I'm so glad you're bringing this up.
So they wrote this down,
I
mailed
am
it,
so excited you're bringing this up.
and then just hoped to God. They checked every week. Maybe they'll answer my question this week. This is such a huge thing. I got to know this.
Yeah. Again, my partner's 30. This other person on a project is 30. We were just on a call and I explained exactly what you're about to say to be like, you just didn't know.
No.
Until TV guy answered the question.
Decided to help you out.
You didn't know what he looked like.
You would never know the person's name. Yeah. And it's, I always like to see the level of question that someone, like, clearly this burned someone. They had it. This obsessed them. There were arguments. So the best one here is, I'd love to know what Star Trek's Michael Dorn looks like without his Klingon makeup. And then
you had no idea.
No idea. And they go, looks a lot better in our opinion. Here's Michael after and before they show you. But the one before that is an even weirder question. I heard Jay Leno, who must make $1 zillion hosting The Tonight Show, also writes books on the side. How much more money does this guy need? That's the person's question. It's like a rhetorical question they wrote in.
It's amazing.
You can't answer. How much more money does this guy need? That's a question? And they answered it.
And then I learned about his pediatric AIDS
Which
foundation.
I didn't know either, yeah.
I was like, all right, I don't hate him.
Because his manager's son died of AIDS from a blood transfusion at age 3, which is horrific. And so, he gave all this money to the Samuel Jared Kushnick Foundation. But I love that they answer that question. They go, not a penny. And it's someone from Augusta, Maine that asked that question.
I mean, that's such an Augusta-coded question.
I want to know how much more money this guy
Must
needs.
be nice, Jay.
Must be nice. I heard he makes $1 zillion.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
Like, we'll answer this. And then the other segment that's always super fun is the What I Watch. Because it never is middle of the road. It's always either completely shocking or exactly what you think. And this week's issue is Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh my God, I missed this one because I was focusing on Luther Vandross from the other one, but this is amazing.
The funniest thing about that Luther Vandross one is it's in an article about Tracy Gold's struggles with bulimia, and then it's just like smiling Luther Vandross being like, I love The Price is Right.
I love how Barbara Walters makes celebrities sweat.
It's just in the middle for no reason. You're like, what a layup.
I'm glad Tracy's doing okay.
Yeah.
Luther
Vandross, like, there was nothing else you could have put there. And so he's like, I think this is his first year in the NBA. I think this was like Blue Chips came out. And obviously Shaq watches Fresh Prince and Living Color and UMTV Reps.
And my favorite bit about this, because think about all the things you imagine right now Shaq has at his disposal. Yeah. And do you think in 1992 he has a VCR? No, he doesn't.
Nope.
He says there's one in the house, but not in my room. What a weird detail.
Is he living at home with his parents?
Yeah, I think he's living at home.
That's insane.
I think he's like, Mom has one, but I don't have one in my house.
Wow. That is insane.
No, let's hold on. We need to read the last one because time has not borne this out. How will becoming a multimillionaire change him? I'm not going to be outrageous. I'm going to keep it simple. Yeah, sure.
I don't need all this stuff. Okay, Shaq.
Sure, Shaq. I think he's DJing a party right now.
Yeah. This is before Shaq Diesel was even a twinkle in his eye.
Yeah. He doesn't even know the Fushnikins yet.
Shaq Fu, the Genesis game, was not even a possibility. How crazy is that? Can you be like, all right, I'm playing basketball. In 3 years, I'm going to have my own video game where I do a kung fu based on my basketball.
Truly amazing. I had that CD for sure, and I am embarrassed about it.
The Fushnikins one.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, man.
Yeah, What's Up, Doc? Can We Rock? I did absolutely have it.
Yeah.
No, it's catchy.
As far as basketball players who put out records go, it's one of the more
probably one of the better
ones. Then there's a weird quote from Adam Curry where it says, "You can't shake your butt on the radio and have people notice. Why bother?"
Yeah. What?
Why have that quote?
And that was him talking shit about Julie Brown's new radio show.
Downtown Julie Brown. He was basically like, she's only on TV because she's pretty and she shakes her butt. She doesn't have the skill set like I do, Adam Curry.
Amazing. I had no idea that this is why people know who Jeff Jarvis is, by the way. Mm-hmm. Jeff Jarvis was a journalist for TV Guide, I guess.
Yep, he was the couch critic. And so this one, he reviews Jay Leno's Tonight Show. And he thinks about what you would think he would think of it.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, this is yeah, it's fine. It's like I can't believe that there were this many words written on stuff.
Oh yeah, and it's insightful and well written, but it has one of the best final lines just Jeff Jarvis has ever done in one of his Couch Critic reviews. And that's saying a lot. He says, "I can't help but feel sorry for him. He's not bad. He's just sad." That's his review of Jay Leno.
Holy shit.
That's brutal.
Yeah, you're like, hey, this is amazing. TV Guide is doing a big piece on us. It's going to be great. Right where everyone makes their TV watching decisions.
Not bad.
Then,
not bad was generous, but I forgive Jay Leno. He's like, really, like, he's not good.
It's so brutal.
Because TV Guide at the time was the #1 highest print publication in the world, and they could write whatever they wanted. Like, they could be brutally honest. They didn't care. Like, what was Jay Leno going to do? Nothing.
Yeah, this is so thinking about like the stuff that this activated in my brain is like my house didn't get TV Guide. Like we lived in a duplex basically, and on one floor was my dad and me and my mom until they split, and then upstairs was my aunt, my elderly aunt. She got TV Guide and just like smoked cigarettes and watched TV all day. She was probably had a keen eye on a lot of these dolls that were advertised in here. She was always wearing a turquoise terry cloth, like sweatsuit, real classic lady, Peggy, from Everett, Peggy from Everett. And and I'd go up and I'd read cover to cover TV Guide. Yeah. I would read every article that was in there, and she'd be watching like, she'd be watching Regis and Kathy Lee or something. Yep. And this is just how I got information about the world.
Yeah.
Like, this is also how, because again, like, you're not controlling the context, you're just receiving information that was available that week. This is why I know so many useless things now. Yeah. Like, I just was like, well, I guess I will read about whatever. Yeah, like, there was like a... Yeah, I guess I'll read a full article about Phil Donahue when I'm 10 years old. Yeah. I don't, this is, you just amass this, and this was, like, there were people who did this, and there was everybody else. Mm-hmm. And, like, now there is, and it's great, like, whatever, things happen. But now everyone thinks they know stuff because they can find out that information super quickly. Yeah. And the work you used to have to do.
Oh, yeah. Like,
to know what was going on in the culture.
You're a big movie guy. Like, TV Guide has the movie section in the back, which was the only place you could find who directed a thing, how long the movie was, what year it came. Like, all the stuff people take for granted on IMDb was that little movie section in the back of TV Guide was gold.
Yeah, the only other piece that happened in the other issue that I actually read from 1994 that doesn't show up in this episode, but excuse me, that doesn't show up in this issue, but speaks to all of this, was like, I hadn't really forgotten because I think about it actually quite a bit, but like when I saw Movie Magic, the TV show advertised, which again is like, on Discovery, where you would go and just like learn about how movies were made. This was a full episode dedicated to Jim Henson's puppets. Like, that's just how you'd learn shit.
Yeah. And you were lucky to stumble on it. Like, Discovery Channel aired Jonathan Ross, not the murderous ICE agent, the UK TV host, had a show called The Incredibly Strange Film Show. It was on Channel 4 in the UK, and it was short-form documentaries on George Romero, John Waters, Russ Myers, and amazing. They aired them on Discovery Channel. And I stumbled on them and discovered all those directors, like, by chance, because of the Discovery Channel re-airing what was undoubtedly some cheap programming they bought from the UK.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So then we get the big, Donahue here, and Donahue in a dress, and these things, very strange. And then there's a weird article in here called Title Search. A fascinating name game is played before a series gets its moniker. And to your point, We didn't get behind the scenes stuff. You barely got it. And this is a little one pager behind the scenes of how they decide what the name of a show is going to be. And the four shows they do are Knots Landing, Parker Lewis Can't Lose, I'll Fly Away, and Quantum Leap. There's like a paragraph of how the show went and what the show was called before. And it's really fascinating. As a TV nerd, it's really fascinating.
Yeah, I love this. When they said they're dropping Can't Lose from Parker Lewis, I was shocked.
Season 3.
I was like, did that happen?
Yes.
Did that really happen?
Season 3. They dropped the Can't Lose. They used to reference the first season all the time about the dumb shirts he would wear. And season 3 is a rare TV season that takes place in the summer. It aired in the summer and took place in the summer.
Oh, shoot.
So Fox had a really brilliant idea in 1992 where they were like, look, kids are out of school. Everything's in reruns. Let's do our seasons in the summer of our teenage shows. So 90210, Parker Lewis, they were like, we'll have summer seasons. And it was a huge success. And
yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
I mean, I remember like, I don't, because I think by the time I'm watching Parker Lewis, it's in USA rotation.
Yeah.
And so I think it's like one of those things where like I imagine you probably know this, like I imagine if they were running season 3, they're probably running the title sequence from the others. I don't know how exactly it's going or whatever, but I don't think I noticed that there was a different thing.
Yeah.
But I friggin' loved a show that was taking place in the summer. Like I love, especially a Mainer, like to see like kids in Southern California having a Southern California time. And every time when people out here, people are like, I will say, I was like, I've always wanted to live in Los Angeles. And like, why? I'm like, well, like the Muppets and like 90210.
Yep.
Like,
California Dreams.
California Dreams. It looked so cool.
Yeah, I agree. Same with me. I was like obsessed with like TNC surf culture and like skate TV. I'm like, it seems so cool out there. California, man.
Totally.
California games.
This Matthew Lillard is going
He's going places on this skate TV. Then there's a great article in here about Miguel Ferrer, who's on
I love it.
On the Hour.
George Clooney's cousin.
Yeah, and the little blurb about David Lynch's On the Air.
The David Lynch side, yeah.
On the Air I rewatched it recently. It's really good.
I never caught it in any iteration, so I'm excited to finally check it out. 7 episodes, that's doable.
And it's really funny. It's basically like people forget how funny Twin Peaks was, and it's kind of just the weird funny stuff from Twin Peaks.
That's great. I love Miguel Ferrer in anything. Yeah. Anytime he shows up, he was always really a treat.
Plays that one
such
character.
Such a weird energy.
He absolutely does.
Yeah, he says in the article, he's like, why aren't you getting me like a doctor or a lawyer? And it's like, look at you.
There's an unsold pilot where he plays a robot who's partnered with a detective played by, who is it? I think it's like, what's his name from The Warriors?
That guy who's also in The Crow.
Yes, yeah.
No, the same guy.
Yes, who's from Everett. By the way,
no, he isn't.
Oh, he is. Yeah, he is.
That energy makes sense now.
Remember why I can't remember his name, but yeah, he's 100% from Everett. Now you can't unsee it. Everything is in it. Like,
yeah, absolutely. No shit, he looks like all of my uncles.
Every single dude.
Are you talking about David Patrick Kelly?
No, not David Patrick Kelly.
No, which guy? Oh, James Remar.
James Remar. Yes.
Yeah, holy shit,
right?
That's amazing.
He's every dude from Everett who's like,
that's amazing. Yeah,
who's
one of Carrie's beaux in Sex and the City.
Yes, which is very strange.
That's incredible.
Got fired from Aliens for trying to buy cocaine from a policeman.
That's fantastic.
Was replaced with Michael Biehn. But yeah, he's great.
Is that true?
Oh yeah. He was in London. In the part that Michael Biehn played, they were shooting. There's one shot in Aliens where it's still him, the back of his head. And he got arrested for trying to buy cocaine from a policeman, got deported, and they called Michael Biehn in, who like flew in and started shooting the next day.
Wow. Imagine Michael Biehn being the replacement in that situation. That's so perfect.
Yeah.
That man looks like cocaine.
He really does.
He does. He
really
looks
does.
scary.
He looks like he will just like pull a knife on you for no reason.
I bet it's happened.
He's stolen tokens from kids at Hampton Beach Casino Ballroom.
I can't wait, by the way, knowing how deep deep mass in northern New England this is, to get to to get to the fact that this issue appears to be advertised by the weird conglomerate of independent amusement parks in Northern New
Yes,
England.
amazing in here. So good. So, this is the Cambridge edition. So, we'll move on and get to it before here we have the ultimate sportsman's knife.
Oh my God, I love it. I wanted all of these so bad.
Did you see how much this cost?
How much is it?
$145.
So like 300 adjusted for inflation.
It's this really crappy Bowie knife that has like a bear etched on it from the Franklin Mint, and it is $145 for that thing.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah, that's someone's house payment in 1992. So let's jump in here. Saturday night, what are you doing?
Oh, golly. Where did it just go? I was trying to open the PDF and screwed myself. Here we go. Saturday night. Okay. So let's see. I'm watching, and out the gate, I'm eschewing television, unfortunately. I'm watching The Fun House on Channel 27. I don't know what Channel 27 is in this case.
It was a UHF station in southern Massachusetts on the Rhode Island border.
That makes so much sense because there was like no other information. Right around this time, I was starting to get into movies like The Fun House. And my uncle, who was a Malden guy, had a prolific, he had a double VCR. And so every time we'd go to Blockbuster, he'd go to Blockbuster, he would get a copy of whatever the movie was. And, this style and genre and oeuvre of just like from the cover of the VHS to the actual movie itself to the weird indie rental store you'd get it from with like overhead fluorescent downcast lights. This is really important. So this would be the only thing that is on television as far as I'm concerned, and this occupies the whole primetime block.
My favorite Tobe Hooper movie.
Really?
Maybe Chainsaw 2.
Wow, I love this.
Funhouse is so good. They only give it 2 stars, but I love the movie. And I've told this story in the show before, but I got in an argument with Dean Koontz when I was in college.
Yeah, of course.
Dean Koontz wrote the novelization of Funhouse under a pen name.
What?
But it's literally the best thing Dean Koontz has ever written. He expands on like all the characters and the lore of the movie, and it's legitimately really good. Funhouse is great, and I think I rewatched that movie almost every Halloween. It's got like the atmosphere.
Wow. Yeah, I watch it. Whenever I go to Maine. So speaking of that kind of video store, whenever I go to Maine, I see one of my best friends from town, and if I'm there for more than a couple days, we get together on one of the weeknights and watch as many garbage, movies from the backs of the video stores as we can.
100%. Yeah, it's that vibe. So On the Air is on, which I did watch that night. Again, really funny, weird show. And it's the season premiere of Tales from the Crypt. So there's 3 episodes in a row. So every summer on usually my birthday, this is the 27th, so it's the day before my birthday, they would have the premiere of Tales from the Crypt with 3 episodes. So I always like associate that with my birthday and the summer kicking off. So this is season 3, I think. And there's
season 3 is great.
So good. Treat Williams, This Will Kill You with Sonia Braga and Dylan McDermott, and On a Dead Man's Chest, which is that tattoo one with Heavy D.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah, that same friend and I recently crushed that box set.
It's good. James Remar's in one. Yeah. He gets, is it one where Whoopi Goldberg cuts his head off?
I think so. That's great. This man is in our lives.
He really is. Sunday, what are you doing?
Sunday, I would have been watching In Living Color for sure. I would have been watching In Living Color if my parents did not know I was watching In Living Color. I think, well, I talked about this we talked about Beverly Hills Cop on You Are Good, and about I think like, I think like there are a lot of white parents who didn't know they were racist. Their racism came out about which comedy you were allowed to watch. Fair. And who was allowed to be off color, let's say. And I think that because of the popularity of Eddie Murphy in particular, and my parents parents, like, maybe not even being aware of his actual comedy, but like hearing what they heard he said, which were all true things. I think they then were like, anything that is funny that has black people in it is probably blue, like in that sense. And so I think that, like, you know, like I could and did watch Fresh Prince, like that was like somehow fine because that was like
Wholesome.
Yeah, it's wholesome. It's like it's upwardly mobile. But I do think that there were, and I can't remember it exactly, but I think that my parents actually had like a giant problem with everything that was on Fox at this time.
A lot of parents did.
Yeah, and so I think that, but I think I would have gotten away with watching Married with Children over In Living Color.
Because your parents probably liked
and I
it.
think, right. Well, I think that they could see it and not make assumptions about what was in it because of I think my parents were not overtly racist people, but like I think that they certainly made a lot of assumptions.
Yeah, there's a certain New England naivete that ends up translating into racism.
For sure. So In Living Color, I would definitely, I would watch. I would definitely, but I would be flipping back and forth to America's Funniest Home Videos. I'd go to, you know, Tawny Catan Town with Funniest People, and then I would finish off the second half with Married with Children, and then Herman's Head.
Herman's Head's really funny. Like to this day,
love Herman's Head. Inside Out.
It's
a
Inside
prequel
Out.
to Inside Out.
100%. Inside Out, and I really love that show. America's Funniest Home Videos I loved. America's Funniest People, I always joke, they made a show hoping people wouldn't notice they weren't still watching America's Funniest Home Videos.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
They're like, it's a guy from Full House. They won't notice.
Like, what is the differentiation on the shows aside from Jackalope?
So you could they would go to shopping malls and they would set up a camera and have people do like, here's my impression of whatever. And they would show those clips and then people could make short films and send them in and they would air them. Whereas Funniest Home Videos was like, you know, people getting hit in the crotch.
Yeah. That makes sense. We had a kid at our school in Cornish Elementary in Maine who's, I don't know. I don't want to make any assumptions about what his deal was, but like he could just memorize things really easily. And he would, like, his submission to America's Funniest Home Videos was like him just doing like the Gettysburg Address and like maybe dressed as like a little Abraham Lincoln. And he won.
Wow.
Like he won a prize on America's Funniest. I think it was like second prize, which is funny. But like he won a prize. And like that was his whole thing, that he was like on that show more than twice.
That's
doing
huge.
that.
Like, I don't know if people now could really fathom how huge that is.
Yeah, you were on the show 1/3 of America watched at that moment.
Yeah. And you did it by just sending in a video. Like, in a world where we could now post things, like the fact that was available is insane.
You had to go to a secondary location in order to make that happen.
You're someone with a camera. On at 8:00 that night, I want to point the show out. I did a short video on this years ago, but Nickelodeon had a show called Hi Honey, I'm Home.
Oh my God, I forgot about it.
It was Nick at Night's first original scripted sitcom.
Surreal.
So surreal. And the gimmick was they called it an instant rerun because it aired on ABC, I think ABC, on Saturday night. And then the same episode aired on Nickelodeon, Nick at Night on the Sunday. So they were like instant rerun.
Wild.
And it was basically the Munsters, but there was a TV 50s family in a modern time. And it's funny and strange. Didn't do well. People didn't like it. But it's on this night. They kind of put it on in the summer in an attempt to get that summer audience, and it was sort of too boomer for like teenagers, but too weird for like people who watched Nick at Night reruns.
I think I can't remember if it was which way this goes. If it was like I noticed you referenced on Paparina or Paparina one way or another, but like you're familiar with the work of Paparina.
Oh yeah, yep, yeah.
That's like, I think that creator is like doing the most important work.
Yeah, he's been on the show, and he's
in the world.
He's
really,
yeah. And I sent him. So I used to tape trade for years, and I had about 10,000 DVD-Rs of tapes that I had of shows and 2 whole boxes of Nickelodeon stuff. And I sent it all to him. I'm like, you'll do the best. Like, you are the curator of this. And there's all these rare shows. So like Rated K for Kids, I think I got him all the episodes. And then the Kids Court one, he uses a lot of my interview with Paul Provenza.
That's where I saw. Yeah. That's so funny.
And then also he used a lot of my interview with Will McRobb on the Pete and Pete one.
Amazing.
Yeah, because Nickelodeon.
Yeah, I really feel like I can't even put it into words, but it's like I think a lot about the aesthetic of the culture that shaped me, but not the decisions that sort of went into like how those things got to me.
Yeah.
So spending at this point, I don't know, like maybe 30 hours watching that stuff over there and like the analysis and just like what he's able to do with very little available information is pretty incredible.
And he digs through a lot of like periodicals and like weird like industry magazines that it's just like, yeah, he does a really good job, like way more than I could ever do researching that kind of stuff.
It's really great. But I'm so glad Hi Honey, because it was one of those things that I'm looking at it now and it's like there's an ellipsis. So I just saw Hi Honey. If I had seen that, I absolutely would have brought that up because that was like, I think like, you know, it was an intro. It was like postmodern intro
100%.
for kids.
Yeah.
Like it was like Freddy's. No, it's what New Nightmare.
Yes,
but
New Nightmare.
but 2 years earlier, and on television.
Yeah, and kind of doing what the Brady Bunch movies did in a way,
right?
But with
right.
a new sort of fill-in pastiche show instead of like an actual show that people did. But yeah, I rewatched it. I probably made a short video on it maybe 3 years ago, and I rewatched the whole series and liked it. The only thing that's sort of lame is they rely way too much on like guest stars from like old shows.
Sure.
And it's clearly they're kind of shoehorned in, like it doesn't need it, but they did it anyway.
Yeah.
Also, Mannequin 2 on the move is on, and I just want to point it out because it gets 1 star, and that might be generous.
That is. Oh my God. We covered Mannequin 2 as a bonus because we did Mannequin. And I was so delighted by Mannequin. It's a movie I've seen. Yeah, it's a movie I've seen, obviously, on TV and bits and whatever. And then we covered Mannequin 2. I don't think... There's only been 2 occasions in which I've abjectly hated a movie that we've covered, and Mannequin 2 is one of them, and the other one is Jack Frost, the Michael Keaton White Blues Man movie.
Both of them. Like Mannequin 2, even Meshack Taylor can't save Mannequin 2. Like,
which is wild.
I had Andrew McCarthy on, and I talked a lot about Mannequin, and I am obsessed with James Spader in that movie because he's so fucking weird, like even weird totally. For James Spader. And Andrew was like, "Oh, I got him that part." He goes, "They had this part," and I go, "It'd be really funny." He goes, "James is crazy. It would be great if they decided, and he could do whatever he wanted, and he's out of his mind." And he told me he bought an answering machine exclusively because James Spader would call him at odd hours and leave really long rambling messages. Like he'd fill whole tapes. He'd be like, "Andrew, it's James. I was at the super," like this whole thing. And I was like, "Do you still have those tapes?" He's like, "I think I do." I'm like, "We got to animate those."
Oh
my God.
You got to get those
rambling
tapes.
James Spader tapes from the late 80s.
You absolutely have to get out those tapes.
But he is, I don't know what movie James Spader is in that movie. He's completely, it's maybe the most unhinged James Spader performance.
Oh, it really is. It really is. I do recall when we talked about it, trying to get to the bottom of what we imagined the direction was, or if he just ignored the direction.
He ignored the direction from what Andrew McCarthy said. Andrew McCarthy was like, "Just let James do whatever," and they're like, "Okay,
that makes sense.
Fine, perfect." Yeah. So is that everything on Sunday?
I know you. I cut you off for Hi Honey.
Oh no problem.
Yeah, you were. I think you got as far as Hi Honey.
Oh yeah, and Herman's Head I always loved and would watch that. I wasn't the biggest Married with Children fan, but watched it every week. It always just seems so sleazy to me, and I didn't mind sleazy, but for some reason that sleazy made me uncomfortable.
Yeah, I get that entirely, and I think like Yeah, I totally get that. But like, I think that there was just something about the fabric of the show that really spoke to me. Like, I really liked whatever weird world that they were creating sort of aesthetically.
Yeah.
I was so into. It felt so bizarre.
Cartoonish Roseanne, but also, which obviously I didn't know in 92, but of all the shows on TV had the exact aesthetic of pornography at that time.
Yeah.
Like it looks shot the same way, like the women who are like ridiculous.
For work, I want to be as specific as possible. For work, this month is porn business convention month. And it's very funny to look back on the fact that I was so influenced by, or found, I don't want to say influenced by, but found resonance in that aesthetic in particular.
Yeah, that was like pure Spice Channel is Married with Children. Like,
But you know what else I feel in it is like Rocco's Modern Life. Like there's like something about, there's just like something about that. I mean, I think that that's the entire, even like Church of the Subgenius or whatever. Yeah. It's like all of these people are taking and repackaging this aesthetic from like the 50s. Well, and it just like is, sort of, it's all like kind of like a weird like animal skins and like tiki and like weird garish and gaudy and repackaging it, and you see that everywhere from like Pee-wee's Playhouse to this to
like starts with John Waters and goes the TV we grew up with was made by the first generation of people who grew up watching TV, so it got that extra step of like referential weirdness and sort of recycling the low culture of them growing up into like the mainstream stuff that we saw. And it's bizarre. And yeah, Married with Children is a pretty good summary of that. Yeah. Man, and amazing cast, like Ed O'Neill's so good, Katie Seagal is so good, but just I've tried to go back and rewatch it too because people love it. It comes up all the time.
No, there's nothing there.
No. It really
like the thing that I know, and I don't know if this applies to the 92 issue that we're doing now, but the one thing that I wanted to note is that, because we're talking about primetime, but I can guarantee you that it probably closer to the mid-90s, that any night at 7 and 7:30 I'm watching Roseanne.
Yes. Like
any night Roseanne is on, I am watching Roseanne.
One of my favorite shows. And that does hold up.
Monumentally. It holds up so hard it makes the sins of the past decade difficult. I saw her do stand-up at a residency in Vegas in 2012, and she was amazing.
When her brain's working correctly, it's great. And I will say, Tom Arnold's become a friend. I've had Tom on the show, and Tom is one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life. Like one of the few people I've had to like ask to stop talking for a moment because I was like hurting. And his stories about work, like, because he did so much work on Roseanne. Like he was his producer, and he has this clarity of it now, and he's just hearing about the writers' room on that and from other people who wrote on that show, and hearing from him, he's like, oh, we were terrible. We'd go up to people and we'd hire writers that were like opening for us on the road, never wrote anything. We'd just bring them in and be like, this guy works on the show now. They'd go up to people and be like, hey, Rosie and I are doing a charity event this weekend. Write us a half hour of jokes or you're fucking fired. Like that kind of stuff.
Holy moly.
Like, Tom goes, Joss Whedon worked on the show as a writer. Yeah. And Tom was like, I don't know if I'm one of the reasons he's such a bad person. Like, why? He goes, well, he wrote on the show, and I remember I got arrested because I punched this paparazzi because I told him I was going to break his camera, and he didn't put it down fast enough. He goes, and so they made me fill out all this paperwork about anger management. I didn't want to fill it out, so I threw it at Joss Whedon. I said, fill this out. And I don't know what he wrote, but I had to go to rehab. I was like, oh my God. Oh, it's so good.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and Penelope Spheris wrote on Roseanne for a season. Like, that's just wild. Nuts. But
was that pre or post Wayne's World?
Post Wayne's World. She did did a guest writing spot. She was like, oh, and Roseanne was the worst. Like, she fired Penelope Spheris because they were getting out of a limo and Roseanne dropped her wallet. And Penelope was like, oh, you dropped your wallet. And she's like, you're fired. It was like some crazy thing. But I did rewatch the Jackie Thomas show, which was Tom's show.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious because the character he's playing is Roseanne.
Amazing.
He's working on Roseanne, and the show he made is about a guy who's the star of a huge sitcom who's a fucking lunatic and is just an asshole to everybody and is out of his mind. And it's so funny. It's a funny show, legitimately. But watching it now, I'm like, wow, he's actively making a show about Roseanne while it's happening.
This is beautiful.
It's so good. He recently told a story about when she stabbed him. I don't know if you've ever heard that. It was over Jenny Craig cookies. She stabbed him in the chest with a butcher knife.
That's amazing. Yeah. These are my heroes when I was a kid.
Best. Yeah, and what a good dude. He's just so good. Also want to mention Down the Shore is on, which, speaking of Nickelodeon, I had Lou Schneider on, who hosted Make the Grade, but he was a stand-up. He's from Brookline, Mass. And this was his second show, Down the Shore. And it was his show. He was like the lead in this show. And one of the writers he hired was Phil Rosenthal. It was Phil Rosenthal's first writing gig. And because of that, Phil hired Lou as a writer on Raymond. And Lou worked as a story consultant writer on every season of Raymond because of Down the Shore. It was Phil Rosenthal's first gig.
I think that, I think that stories like that are so important. That's why I'm so into the history of all this, is that I often find myself talking with people who, for whatever reason, look to me for advice, and I don't think that that's ever the best idea. But I am like, don't wait for a perfect thing. Like, do a thing, because like if you're waiting for the perfect thing that's gonna, in your view, achieve all of the vision and all that stuff, like, you don't know the timeline yet, and what could be the case is a thing that like is whatever. And you don't, but like you could get something out of it, or it could bring you something or whatever.
It all builds.
It builds, and you don't know who the fuck you're working with on it, and you shouldn't look at it like that. You should look at it like, what can I bring to this, whatever. But like, by holding out for the perfect thing all the time, people really lose out on these things that teach them stuff about themselves, about the process, and about like who else is out there.
And that's what, like, doing this show and doing stand up and like the people I admire and talk to. I realized that, like, if you just show up, you're a good person to do a good job, even if the thing's a failure, people will remember that. And when people get an opportunity to help you, they do. And that's not why you do it, but every single person, that's how they get their like, it's, people remember it. Like, there's no reason you end up like Christy Swanson otherwise.
Totally.
Nobody wants to work with you.
Yeah. This is what I say. Yeah, I say that exact thing. It's just like, just show up and do the thing. Yeah. Like, that's nearly 100%.
Yeah, and then next time someone has an opportunity to be like, oh, I remember that guy. It was, or whatever. They were cool to work with. Let's hire him for this. Or if you open for Tom and Roseanne, you now write on the number one TV show on TV, even though you've done stand-up 3 times. But I wanted to mention that. And then, funnily enough, A&E Caroline's Comedy Hour is on, and just as a stand-up nerd, I like to look at who was in the episode. And this one is Jonathan Solomon, who I don't know, Judy Gold, and Louis C.K.
Oh yeah, I can see it. I can see this episode. My dad and I watch that and Stand Up Spotlight all the time.
I watched any stand up on TV. I was like, yeah, all of it.
Rosie's mullet.
Yep.
You know, wearing that tuxedo and having a mullet, like a Jerry curl mullet, basically. She looks like a late member of the Jackson 5.
Like she was at the Apollo.
I love it. I love it so much.
It's great. Evening at the Improv was funny because the thing they would do is have non-comedians host. So like Emmanuel Lewis hosted a week. Alex Rocco hosted a week.
What a weird
thing. So weird. Monday, what are you doing?
Monday, I am so I'm definitely watching The Fresh Prince, and I just want to read
please do.
Episode description of this one. Philip and Vivian, who are the elders in the show, roll out the red carpet for a visiting 1960s radical who arouses the FBI's interest and influences Will and Carlton to take action over the firing of a nonconformist teacher. Wow. Yeah. I honestly, don't remember that show. I remember that show like doing issues and stuff and like talking about race, but I don't remember them talking about like the weather underground
60s radicals, yeah, like a Black Panthers and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do the Fresh Prince. I would be flipping back and forth to Evening Shade. I don't know why I love that show, but like there was just like something strange about it.
Reynolds is watchable in anything.
Who was the guy? There was the redhead who was
the mustache.
He was a big like theater guy.
Yeah.
He was gay.
Yes.
He was like a AIDS activist.
I can't think of his name, but yeah, he was like the MVP on that show.
Yeah, he was so fun. I think he was in Hair.
That would make sense.
Which is great.
That would make sense.
He was the best. He was very sweet. I always loved that. And then Major Dad. Unfortunately, I would be watching Major Dad. I would be watching Murphy Brown, and then I would flip over down to our friends at Nickelodeon to finish the night with Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah, Nickelodeon was. I always say we always had home channels. Mine was 29, which was Nickelodeon. 33 was USA, and 36 was MTV. Like I have a muscle memory remote control on those. When it was like I didn't know what was on, I'd go to the home channel. Like keep going back.
Yeah. That was exactly it. Totally.
Nick at Night
something would probably be there.
Nick at Night was always one of those. Major Dad, man, what a terrible show.
What a bad show.
Awful. And was made in collaboration with the military. They like sponsored the show. And I recently did an episode with a guy who basically invented the job of warm-up comic. He's a guy from Rhode Island. And he was like, yeah, Major Dad sucked. You get those people that, they wore a uniform in the show. They thought they were actual military guy. And he was one of them. Like, McRaney was like, in there like, I'm freaking SS Patton or something.
That makes sense.
It was just miserable. But not a funny show.
No, not at all. I would just sometimes just watch it because it was there.
Yeah.
I was not actively a wrestling fan in this year. And WWF was on TV, and it is something that like I would absolutely sort of like linger on to watch the spectacle of, but I was not like bought it.
This was Monday night before they changed it to Monday Night Raw, but it was like the Monday Night WWF thing. And
yes.
At this time I was deep into wrestling because I was working on the Wrestling Insider show. So I was learning all about wrestling. I always say I quit watching wrestling around Dunk the Clown. That's when I was out. I was like, I'm out. Nope, I'm out.
This isn't for me anymore.
And I saw Ravishing Rick Rude be really mean to a kid at the Boston Garden.
That's oh my God, that's so specific.
Yeah, I was leaving early and it was in the concourse, and this is a little kid in a wheelchair, literally. I was like, excuse me, mister, can I have your autograph? And he goes, get out of my way, R word, or I'm going to kick you down these stairs. I'm like, that guy's kayfabing to the very end. And the kid was just like, oh. I was like, I'm out. There was no one around. You didn't even need you could have just signed the kid's
he just is mean to children. Yeah. That's his whole thing.
He was truly rude. And Northern Exposure's on also, which is a show that I love. It's so good and holds up so well.
Beautiful.
Tuesday, what are you doing?
Tuesday, I'm like, I'm definitely watching Full House at this age. I'm watching Full House. I put Home Improvement, but I don't think that's right because I didn't like Home Improvement.
No, me either.
I didn't like any of the people that were involved, but I think I put it there because I just figured based on the stretch of time, I didn't see anything else. And I can't wait to hear what you have to say about this part. But I said Home Improvement, but that's not correct because like I just like abjectly from a young age hated Tim Allen and everyone who was around him.
Too.
But definitely watching Roseanne, and then flipping back and forth between Coach and Rescue 911.
Yes. So we have 2 hours of Rescue 911 that night. That was my second half. So I'd watch Full House and then I'd watch Rescue 911, which is the funniest show that ever aired on television. I still can't believe it's not an Adult Swim show because the genius idea behind Rescue 911 is 911 calls are public domain. You pay nothing to use them. True, right? And so they would do bad reenactments. You always knew the people would live, so it was never like you could laugh at it because and super serious William Shatner and awful acting, and it's amazing. Amazing. This one has one of my favorite segments. The strange case of a Pennsylvania teenager, his tongue and a freezer. And I love how they word it. It's perfect.
It's genius. Well, you talked about the genius of that, and I a handful of years ago in my first podcast, which was called Nashville Demystified, I ended up reaching out to and connecting with Daniel Butler, who was like close with Jim Varney and was like involved in the whole early sort of Ernest stuff. And Daniel, down the road, you know, in getting in on the Rescue 911 model, I think, started a show called America's Dumbest Criminals. Yes. And it did like a 4-year run. And I was the only podcaster he knew because I interviewed him. And he was really trying. He was like, can we use this IP to like make a podcast about this? And I was already feeling thickly ACAB that I didn't want to, I didn't want to basically do a, right. But I also had a great affection for Daniel. He was a real sweet dude. I think he's still around. He's a real sweet dude. But I really love that the 90s was just full of like, how do we take public domain something and build garbage around it?
And some brilliant ideas. I mean, Cops was originally invented that way because one of the producers figured out you had a right as a taxpayer to do ride-alongs, and there was nothing preventing you from filming them. So it was free filming. They were like, that's amazing.
So funny. That's so funny. And so when you say Cops, you're not talking about the Deke animated show.
No, that's I freaking love that show. I'd watch a movie based on that right now, man. And awesome
Absolutely.
Toys. But yeah, Rescue 911, there's an edition of this that I have not been able to confirm I actually saw. And it had to be a real episode. No one's been able to find it. A guy gets himself caught in the suction of a hot tub at a hotel.
Oh,
and
wow.
has to call 911 and they play the call. And I distinctly remember seeing this. I'm like, I didn't make this up. And
where else would you see
I remember the guy going, I'm stuck in a hot tub. And they're like, what do you mean? And he's like, myself, it's stuck in the hot tub. And the person's like, how, what? And they have this guy reenacting it. It's so funny. And I need to find it because the other one I thought I made up, Rescue 911 did a Christmas special. And it was all Rod 911 calls that I do with Santa Claus. And there's one where this woman's in traffic, like dead, non-moving traffic, and her son starts choking, and a guy dressed as Santa Claus comes out of nowhere, opens her car door, gives the kid the Heimlich maneuver, and just walks off. And the call, literally, this woman's like, my son, he's choking. Wait, it's Santa Claus. It's like the weirdest. And I was like, that couldn't have and I found it, and I'm like, that is exactly how the segment goes.
That is so beautiful. The one that always stands out for me on Rescue 911 is a kid. Okay, here's his telling. I can remember it exactly because I'm just calling whatever. I'll call bullshit on it. It's fine. We're good. But he's like, I found an old BB gun. And I looked at it and I was like, I wanted to see what to do with it or whatever. And then I started to try to shoot flies off the screens of my window. Shit. And I shot a little kid in the chest, and the BB like went into his heart or something. Yes. I can't remember what happened to the kid. Wasn't good. But I was like, no, you didn't.
You fucking little liar. Yeah, there's one where they're always southern. This kid blows his hand off with an M80 that he was playing in his bed. There's one, this little girl falls into a washing machine, which is horrific, but the reenactment, you just see these dolls' feet like spinning in the thing. That show, man, that is a genius show.
It is a genius show.
The other thing is there's a short-lived show on with Yancey Butler, friend of the show, had her on, called Man and Machine, where it takes place in the future, and she's a robot who's paired with a detective. And it was kind of a fun, weird show that was very short-lived. Man is with 2 M's because it's the cop's name.
That's so good. I love Yancey Butler's face.
She's
huge fan.
So fun. She
sticks
very, very like no one looks like Yancey Butler.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, no one looks like I can see Yancy Butler from my teenage.
Yep.
I'm like,
Oh man, having her on was so fun. She had amazing stories. Hearing about doing Hard Target. Oh man.
oh my
Directed
god,
by John Woo with Wilford Brimley and at his prime coke time, Van Damme.
That's really perfect.
Perfect.
She really saw it all.
Saw it all. And then, as you referenced when we first started, also on Tuesday, there's this full page ad for New England amusement parks.
Oh my god.
Amazing.
It's incredible. We have York's Wild Kingdom from York
Yep.
Beach, Maine. We have Water Country, Portsmouth, New
Yep.
Hampshire. We have Palace Playland, Old Orchard Beach. We have Ocean Beach, New London, Connecticut. Riverside and Agawam, Massachusetts, which I only heard tell
Yep.
of but never
Which is
went
now
to.
Six Flags.
Canopy Lake Park. Is it? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Oh,
Rock and
yes.
roll in Riverside all night.
Amazing. We have Canopy Lake Park in Salem, which is the one that my family went to most. And then this is Quasi in Middlebury, Connecticut.
That one is the only one
Quasi?
I didn't know. I didn't know that one.
I don't know. In Walham Park in
Whalum Park.
Lindbergh.
Whalum Park
Whalum.
for a whale of a
Amazing.
time.
Amazing.
Because you had, was it Water Whiz? Was that the one up in Aquaboggan?
Aquaboggan,
Yes.
that's it.
Aquaboggan.
I broke my toe at Aquaboggan.
Yes, I think everybody did.
classic.
Aquaboggan.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still open, but man, that place was dangerous. There's no way.
Aquaboggan is still open, but then so Funtown opened its own water park, and then it kind of like took in that water. Now it's all one thing. And I did some work with Funtown. I had a commercial video production company, and like they in my experience of watching them do the thing, it's like fascinating to see like how seriously they take
You'd
the
have
safety
to, I
of this
imagine,
place.
yeah.
Because I'm like, it wasn't like this when I was a
Did
kid.
you ever go to Benson's Wild Animal Farm?
No, but I'm familiar.
Oh, boy.
No, I didn't. We went to York Animal
York's
Kingdom.
still there. I've been to that. It's kind of sad. They do have binturongs. But Benson's was like so not above board. Like it was just some guy who had a lot of wild animals.
That's
And I remember when I was a little kid, they put me in a cage with a bunch of raccoons. And they were like, have fun.
That's
I have a
remarkable.
picture of me holding like baby raccoons. I'm like, they just found these raccoons. And they're like, yeah, it's fine. Kids, get in there. That's fine.
That is
Yeah,
remarkable.
and then there's another thing for Whalum Park here on the next page with the rides and water slides. Whalum Park, I believe, is also part of Six Flags now. And then this doesn't even have the Rhode Island ones like Lincoln Park and oh, here it is. Yeah, Rocky Point. I have a small
it's
recreation.
beautiful.
I saw Samantha Fox live at Rocky Point as a kid. She played in the roller rink because we used to spend every summer in Narragansett, Rhode Island, and we'd go to Rocky Point. And probably I'm thinking 88, Samantha Fox in like the smallest cutoff jeans with her boobs hanging out. I'm like 8 years old. She's playing this roller rink at
That is
Rocky
amazing. This was entertainment.
Yeah,
this is what
it's
we
true.
did. We also get to. Or wait, what day are we in? Oh,
we just
we're
finished
still in
Tuesday, so I think we're in Wednesday now.
We I would love to skip before we even get into the programming to our first doll of the issue,
Billy.
and I'm just going to read the copy. This cuddly little cowboy will steal your heart. Presenting Billy by Linda Steele. And then there's a whole fucking article about Billy.
Yep.
Like it's like
Yep.
there are several pages dedicated to Billy, and this is like a porcelain faced
Yep.
doll, but it's like matte painted photorealistically. This is really, these keepsakes are terrifying.
They're so terrifying. In every issue of TV Guide, there's a new one. I am looking up Billy on eBay because this is what I love to do to see. So Billy originally cost, let's see, 4 convenient monthly installments of $17.25. So doing the math on that, it's about $70.
That's so many dollars.
Cowboy doll. So about $70. Let's see if we have Billy. Here's Billy, vintage 1992 Danbury Mint Billy porcelain cowboy toy, new in box, mint with certificate, sold with shipping, $26.25. So that's pretty good. There's some that sold for $5.99 in here. But this particular ad doesn't have it, but a lot of them do, where they'll also have a little blurb about the doll designer. And it's amazing because they'll be
about Linda Steele in this case.
Won the 1989 doll award. Like it's like this crazy, like world-renowned doll designer. Billy will bring.
I feel like this is the right place to ask because we were talking about him a lot at this time. What the fuck is a mint? Like, what is the Danbury Mint? Is that where coins are made, and why are they making dolls?
It was not. So there was all of these companies that sort of took the Time Life model. There was the Franklin Mint, the Danbury Mint. They would make instant collectibles. That was their whole thing. So we had, collector's plates, Star Trek chess sets, these dolls, all kinds of weird crap. And it was literally just to sell in magazines like this. There is an amazing court case, which you can read the court case files on, where this guy spent his entire life savings on Franklin Mint and Danbury Mint stuff, because he was like, they said it goes up in price. And it's garbage. None of it's worth anything. And he sued them. And obviously he lost. But the case is amazing because they're like, no, we made garbage. Like, what do you, this was clearly garbage. It's amazing.
Look, I agree that he should know. But really, the way that this is advertised is like you are buying some important shit. And I realize that hasn't gone away because you can still buy like a Donald Trump watch or whatever. It's the same exact model.
Although we can't guarantee.
But they're selling this like this is the most important piece of art you're going to own.
Buy it now. There's only 45 firing days or like whatever. It is insane. Like, and collector's plates are the most fascinating to me because, like, a doll, it's creepy. I get it. A doll's a thing. A collector's plate, it's a plate not only can you not eat off, it's toxic to you if you do. It's difficult to display. Why on earth is it a thing? It shouldn't be a thing.
And here's another important question from both the copy of the magazine and then like what was playing on Wednesday for you, because I know you'll know the answer. What was Howie Mandel? Like, what was he? Because he's like, for the past 20 years, he's been like a cool shorn head OCD guy who has like a leather jacket.
Oh, no.
But when I was a kid, he dressed like your lesbian aunt.
Big curly hair. He was like Robin Williams with no edge. Was exactly what Howie Mandel was. He was like, "Oh, I'm crazy."
Gizmo's voice.
There's an amazing SCTV episode where they're making fun of Thick of the Night. Alan Thicke, that show was such a failure. They tried everything to make it work. They had mud wrestling on all the time, which is a whole.
Sure.
Someone has to do a 5-part deep dive documentary about why mud wrestling was a thing. But they would also have all these
great. Question,
what the hell? They would always have comics on. And so they do this parody of Sammy Maudlin, who's like their Carson character, has this new hip show. And it's like, look out, Johnny. And he's got these people on called his Zanies. And Martin Short is playing Howie Mandel. And so he just comes out and all he's doing is going like the whole time. And so he goes, now he's a master of improvisation. Here's a bunch of objects he's never seen before, and he's going to make up a skit. And so he starts going, and he's got nothing. And Sammy Maudlin goes, if you got nothing, just stop. You don't have to say anything. It's all right if you don't have anything. Just tell us. And it's so funny how much they hate Howie Mandel. It's so mean.
It's so funny to think that Howie Mandel has been doing it long enough to have been skewered on SCTV.
Oh, yeah. They tried to, remember he tried to have a movie career, Walk Like a Man?
Walk Like a Man, yeah, absolutely. Of course I remember.
Desperate for him to have a movie career. And weirdly...
Of course, like, I remember, he walked so Brendan Fraser could run in Encino Man.
The best thing he ever did was Bobby's World, which is actually good.
It's the best. I love Bobby's World so much. It's great. And then to then have to extrapolate and understand who this man was from that was difficult. That little football head kid.
I have some animation cells from Bobby's World.
Oh, amazing. I had giant fondness
Love
for Bobby's World.
Underwater, the fish don't stink. Yeah, so this was a summer replacement series. They were trying to do like a Howie sort of like variety show. So we had a 4-episode sort of summer run of this sort of variety show. And I don't remember it being good at all. This episode, there's a ventriloquist. Gilbert Gottfried's in it. I'd be curious to watch it now, but his stand-up was insufferable. His big thing, for people who don't know, he used to put a rubber glove over his head, over his nose, and he'd inflate it. And do you know why he had to stop?
No.
He was doing a show in Colorado, which is a mile up. His sinuses exploded on stage. He's like, it was the most I can't imagine how painful that is. So imagine going to see Howie Mandel and he's blowing a thing up in his head and he just falls to the ground screaming in pain.
Oh my God. I did the classic thing in Denver once. I was there for a trade show and I did the thing where I drank 2 beers.
Yeah, that's like 10.
And was not familiar about what you have to be, how physiologically prepared you have to be for that if you're new. And I did two karaoke songs. I did Ring of Fire and Where Eagles Dare by the Misfits. And then I passed out for 12 hours and couldn't work the whole next day.
That sounds right. I used to do Denver Comic-Con. They used to be nice enough. They'd have me come out and run all the panels. And it was really fun because when I first went, they assigned you with like a volunteer that worked there would be like your like gopher kind of person because you'd have to run all over the convention. And they all had oxygen with them. And at first I was
no wonder they're so high instead of drunk.
I was like, oxygen, come on. But meanwhile, I'm running from one stage to the other and I'm like, like, here you go. And I'm like, yep, need it. Yeah, Howie Mandel. It's amazing he still has a career and his current persona is not, I don't know how that happened.
I think he's like a billionaire.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think something happened that I don't quite understand. I think also in Jamie Loftus's series about the hot tour girl on 16th Minute, I think Howie Mandel's son plays into that.
That makes sense. Jamie's really Boston. Funny. Jamie's been on the show. She's Brockton
Jamie
gal.
Is the best to ever do anything Jamie does.
Yeah. It's
just like heroic.
I always love how weird she just goes for it.
She like goes for it and is prolific. It's really, really enviable.
Yes, it's true.
And is like still has 100 years of her career.
Oh, easily. Yeah, easily. Doing so much better than me.
I try not to get bogged down in it, but yeah, absolutely.
They move and then they blossom. Wednesday night, you're not watching Howie? What are you doing?
No, I am watching a weirdly predictable stretch of TV while flipping to other movies. So the movies that the backbones of my evening, I think this is like a little later on, are The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai and Night Shift.
Yes.
I think I'm flipping between those. But then the foundation of what I'm watching and flipping between is The Wonder Years, Growing Pains, Doogie Howser, and Who's the Boss?
So Buckaroo Banzai, one of my favorite movies. I got to do a live commentary with Lewis Smith once on the movie, who's Perfect Tommy. He had the best stories. Apparently Goldblum, everything that happens to Goldblum in that movie, they kept trying to fuck with him. So like making him wear that cowboy suit. Like one scene they're all wearing glasses because Goldblum showed up on set with glasses he didn't need one day. And Lewis claims that oh my God, Peter Weller did not know it was a comedy. And like
that tracks.
They would be doing jokes and he's like, what are you doing? And he was like deadly serious. And Lewis Smith's roommate at the time was Gary Shandling. Oh, and so Gary Shandling's on the set of like most of the shooting for Buckaroo Banzai. You're like hanging out, which is so weird. Like what?
That's remarkable.
Huge Growing Pains fan. This is a great episode of Growing Pains. This is when Gordon Jump of WKRP fame and also Mr. Bicycle Man from Different Strokes, the child molester who made Dudley play a game called Neptune King of the Sea. Which to this day haunts me because some old, like middle-aged writer was like, we gotta write a show about child molesting, but let's make it funny. So make sure whatever he does to this kid has a weird, funny name. Mr. Drummond, he made me play Neptune King of the Sea. What?
It's so twisted. That's remarkable.
Obviously, they don't elaborate on what that is, which is worse.
Oh my God.
But he played Maggie's.
They're like, fill it in your brain, pervert.
Yeah, and I'm a kid. I'm like, what? There's two different Strokes moments that haunt me to my whole life. That one, and the one where the guy kidnaps Sam because he looks like his dead son. And he goes, if you tell anyone, I will kill you, famous Sam.
I've said, I just told this story the other night. This happened in Malden at a corner store. I know exactly where it is now. I wanted a cap gun, and I was like 3 years old. And I told I was like complaining to I want to go, and I think I was probably whining or whatever. And the guy in line turns around and looks at me in my soul. I'm 3 years old, and he says, if you don't show up, kid, I'm going to show you a real gun.
Yeah, Malden. Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right.
And I was like, I remember the tone, tenor, voice, etc. for the rest of my life.
You shut up.
That's the last thing I'll hear before I die.
I'll show you a real gun, kid. So on Growing Pains, in universe, Maggie's father, so Maggie's maiden name is Maggie Malone. Her father, Gordon Jump, is a cop, and she grew up in universe in Medford. So her dad, played by Gordon Jump, is a Medford cop on Growing Pains.
That's incredible.
Because she met Jason Seaver at BU. They went to BU together in the show.
That's incredible.
So he dies in the show, and in this episode, his ghost is like it's like a whole thing with this ghost. It's really weird. It's a very strange episode. And I'll watch Gordon Jump in anything. He played it with an Irish accent. So it was so weird to me as a kid being like, oh yeah, it's Grandpa Ed Malone, the ex-cop from Medford.
I had I don't know if this happened to you, but like a lot of those, when the sitcoms did a thing like that, they had a ghost, or like I remember like there was a couple ones, and I can't even remember exactly what happened, where there was like an Agatha Christie episode of
Facts of Life.
Facts of
10
Life.
Little Indians, it's called. 7 Little Indians.
And I don't know what it is, where it's like I just accepted that as the fabric of reality in some way, and I would have like dreams that were like shaped by these liminal episodes that they would have, or the classics that people talk about, or like the Mr. Pieces episode of Punky Brewster or whatever. But like sitcoms would do this like once a season, where the fabric of reality would be slightly different. And Mad Men actually did a really good job of jumping back to this. There was an episode where they all do acid, and Roger smokes a cigarette, and it makes like a trumpet sound or something when he pulls it in. But yeah, that all that shit like burned into my brain, and it like affects how I still see reality.
I never watched Mad Men, and Alan Havey. So I had Alan on the show, and he blew the ending of Mad Men inadvertently, like 6 months before it came out. So I was at Alan's house and we recorded. He's like, "Yeah, I just shot a thing for the end of Mad Men," because like I guess the whole thing is he comes back and like takes over the thing, and it's like a huge surprise that his character comes back. So I got like this scoop that no one even noticed.
That's wild.
Months.
Did you get? Was that for this show?
Yeah.
Did you get to talk? I want to listen to that episode because I'm fascinated by his whole Night After Night.
Night After Night. We talked a lot about Night After Night.
Like, what a weird character in pop culture he is.
He was on Lauren Michaels' new show. And then he was up for the gig Conan got. It was like down to him and Conan, and he's a very strange career. Nice guy, Alan Havey, nice guy. But yeah, that was people told me later, they're like, you got a scoop on the ending of Mad Men like 6 months before it happened, and nobody noticed. And I'm like, I think that's good. Is that good or is that bad? I don't know.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah,
sure.
Settle down.
Yeah,
some people noticed.
Yeah, some people notice. So, but Growing Pains I loved so much. I love that show. Watched it every week. Night Court, loved Night Court. Who's the Boss? Never liked it. Watched it every week.
Yeah, exactly.
Alyssa Milano. 100% Alyssa Milano.
Like, there were so many shows where it's like, I don't like this, but for some reason I signed a contract and I have to watch it.
Perfect Strangers. Perfect Strangers. Perfect example. Wouldn't say I like the show. Watched it every week. There's also an action show called Raven on that's weirdly based on like
figure out what that was.
80s indie comic. Weirdly, it's Tracy Scoggins, Jeffrey Meakin. It's like a mercenary type guy. But very weird that it was based on like this weird indie comic book in 1992. let's see, Thursday, what are we doing?
If I had, we didn't. I tried to play by the rules, and we didn't have HBO. But if I had HBO, I'd be watching Stephen Wright. I was monumentally into A Different World, like huge
Same.
into A Different World. That
To this
show
day, I
was,
want to get Hellman College clothing, but I feel like I'm not allowed to wear it.
you can do it. You can do it. You know what? I checked in, and you can do it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, A Different World. It just gigantic. I didn't care. I don't care about the Cosby Show. I loved A Different World in a huge way. The Michael Jackson Dangerous tour footage that is for some reason being broadcast here.
Yes,
there was a lot of like Michael Jackson on primetime television around this time. Prior to this, I think was the Macaulay Culkin, Black or White. He beats the shit out of a car for like 11 minutes or something before that.
And then they had to re-edit it with CG. Do you remember that?
Right, because like people were angry at what was the reason? I remember people being angry at the violence, but
but he's grabbing his crotch and yelling.
Oh, sure.
It's exactly like the between fights thing in Street Fighter where you have to like break the car, except it's Michael Jackson.
Right. It's a level of artistry that I aspire to where I get bonkers rich and I buy TV time to show myself beating up a car.
7 channels at once. So after it aired that first time, they went back and CG'd racial epithets on the car so that he's smashing those.
Okay, of course. And it probably cost $1.5 million to achieve that.
Easily. And that part always got cut out because it's not even part of the video. It's like after the song, it's like 10 minutes of him beating the shit out of a car.
It's silly. And then I'd watch Cheers, and I would watch my favorite sitcom that I watched contractually because I don't think I actually liked it, Wings.
Wings is good. But I've at the time I definitely always watched Wings because it was on and enjoyed it. But it was that show in that 9:30 slot, which people sometimes have referred to as the hammock slot, because it's just like you kind of just between that and the 10 o'clock show. But it's a great show. It's really funny.
I'm glad to know. I want to revisit it. It's one of those ones that is just like not constantly repeating, but I watched it in real time. Like my best friend Matt at the time, Matt and I would call each other Roy, which was a weird
Roy Biggins,
thing,
one of the best characters on TV ever.
Yeah, weird thing for little kids to be doing, but I loved Wings.
Yeah, Wings is good. I've rewatched Wings. It holds up. It's very funny. The ensemble cast is amazing.
Yeah, they're all amazing actors. What an incredible cast.
And even like the recast, like Amy Yazbek comes in later and is so good. Like, it's great. I think I have Crystal Bernard's gospel CD over here, by the way. She put out a gospel album.
Of course she did.
But I loved Wings. I would watch that normally as well, but there's a movie on that is a completely underrated movie. And for some reason, I never run into anyone who's seen this movie. And I'm a huge fan of Eric Red. He wrote Near Dark. He wrote The Hitcher. He has a very specific thing. And he did a movie called Cohen and Tate in 1988. I don't know it. It's unbelievable. It's Adam Baldwin and Roy Schneider play hired killers. That both
I'm
have
looking at the cover. I recognize the cover. I don't know anything about this movie.
Dark road movie. These two mobsters have to kill this kid, and they end up kidnapping him. And it's so good. They only give it 2 stars, but it's like this great neon noir 80s movie that has the vibe of Near Dark and The Hitcher and all the movies people like. But no one ever mentions Cohen and Tate, and I don't know why. And like Roy Schneider's great in it, Roy Scheider rather. It's just really good, and no one ever mentions it. So
it's incredible. I have to check it out. I will check it out.
It is a good movie. Fox exclusive Dangerous Tour. There's also a Penn and Teller summer special on that night, which I 100% absolutely watched and know for a fact that I watched. Because I love Penn and Teller.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, Boston Connection, Jasmine Guy from Boston.
Beautiful.
Even though she played a Southern Belle on Different World. Final night of the week, Friday night. What are you doing?
Friday night, I'm starting early. I am absolutely watching Ren and Stimpy starting at 7:30. God, like, I mean, I know everyone was influenced by Ren and Stimpy, but like I just was so deeply influenced by Ren and Stimpy. This episode of Family Matters description is hilarious and, like, I think racist, where it says, visiting cousin Clarence is a slick dude ready for some action in the Winslow hood and is a bad influence on a vulnerable Eddie. I wouldn't have watched it because I don't remember watching it, but I am now, in retrospect, intrigued by the idea of watching the Witches of Eastwick TV show.
Yes.
And then Dinosaurs is an episode I very much remember, which is Robbie brings home a pet human. And then I would probably have ended up watching Cosby, not because I wanted to, but like in looking through this, like the only other alternative is Dick Van Dyke, which I would have watched earlier in the week.
So Witches of Eastwick is an unsold pilot. So it's summertime. So they only did the pilot. They're airing this pilot to burn it off, recoup some money. So they even say not on NBC's announced fall schedule. I forgot about this. One of the actresses in it is Catherine Mary Stewart, who I know and I've had on the show, and I need to ask her about this. I've never asked her about it because Witches of Eastwick also as a movie was such a massive pop culture phenomenon for about a year. No one ever talks about that movie now. It's never referenced. No one's like, my favorite movie is Witches of Eastwick.
No, I find the cherry scene so unsettling.
Yeah. Yes.
And I watch fucked up shit. And like the Witches of Eastwick cherry scene, a lot of the effects in that movie are effective.
Absolutely.
And I don't know how they would have translated it to a TV show.
And there's a Mad Magazine parody of the Witches of Eastwick that the cherry scene, even in the parody, made me sick as a kid. Like I had to quickly flip through the pages. Dinosaurs, again, one of the best shows of all time, one of the most subversive shows ever. The most brutal ending of a show ever. The last line is, "Daddy, are we gonna die?" And he says, "I don't know, son," which is amazing. I had Stuart Penkin on, and we went to his house, and when I used to do the show in person, and I was like, did the complaints about the ending of Dinosaurs get to the cast? And he goes, "Oh, yes." He's like, they got so many letters. Like, how dare you? Me and my children watched this show for 3 years, and then my kids are like never going to get over this. And like,
that's fantastic to know.
And Henson was like, "What'd you think was going to happen?"
Yeah. It's weird to think of him having an edge about it, actually.
Oh, he from everything I've heard, he was like what I would call a fuck you hippie. He was one of those hippies that was like, "You guys are fucking it all up. You're going to ruin everything." And like, it was very adamant about it. And a lot of this, I love Jim Henson. Oh, man.
That's incredible. The only other thing I want to note that is on, I know I would have watched in some way that really affected me eventually making Nashville Demystified, is TNN had Nashville Now on at this point, and like, and that was just like again, the idea. This was the end of an era where a city that had no business being a TV center was a TV center because Nashville is Nashville. And until I think 98 or 99 had its own sort of its own infrastructure for making TV. Yeah. And you would watch like the weirdest talk shows that felt regional and local, but were on your cable television. It was like hard to discern if you had no context for where the place was. But I watched a lot of Nashville Now.
Did you watch Club Dance on
absolutely. Absolutely.
White people dance MTV The Grind, basically.
Truly. That was
so white.
Absolutely. That was a big I'm surprised that it ran for a long ass time. I think it ran for like the entirety of the 90s.
Yeah. Absolutely did. I just remember Alan Jackson being on all the time.
All the time.
So I'm going TGIF, but also there's some decent movies on Friday night. Dolph Lundgren version of The Punisher is on.
Oh, huge with Louis Gossett Jr.
Louis Gossett Jr., which his first line in that movie is "shit," which I love. I also want to mention, because I bring it up every time, Baby Talk Season 2 is on. This is the show based on Look Who's Talking. But Season 2, they recast the leads. Season 1, the leads were Julia Duffy and George Clooney. They replaced those actors, and this is the only time in history this has ever happened. They replaced George Clooney with Scott Baio.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Oh, Scott Baio. RoboCop 2 is on, which I'll watch anytime that's
Great
on.
news.
I love RoboCop 2. But Sightings is on.
Oh, Sightings. I
Sightings
forgot
was
about it entirely.
Somebody went, hey, Unsolved Mysteries, can we make that show just about the bullshit things? Which is so good. And that's where that like alien autopsy came out of, and just some real ridiculous garbage. And Sightings is, one of them. And also Drop Dead Fred.
Oh God, huge Drop Dead Fred head. I was always confused. Like, I've told people this before, where it's like we would watch at our kitchen table. We weren't a high class family. At our kitchen table, we would watch the news, right, which happened at like 5:30. Then we watched the national news, which happened at like 6, and then some news roundup program at 6:30, and then Entertainment Tonight, and then hard copy. And I assumed they're all the same format.
Yep.
I assumed, and this really plays into who and how I am now, that this was all equally important.
Yep. Yeah, why wouldn't you?
And as such, I did the same with Unsolved Mysteries and Sightings, where I was like, this is presented like a documentary.
Yeah.
Should I be concerned about all of this shit that appears to be happening?
Yeah, because Unsolved Mysteries, the joke I always make is the episode would be about Bigfoot and a rapist. It would be literally, it would be like we're putting these on equal footing. They're both problems. This is the thing that you need to know about. And Sightings was like just Bigfoot. The episode of Unsolved Mysteries that will haunt me to the day I die, and I'll bring this up to you because it takes place in New Hampshire.
Great.
It was a pregnant woman who stopped at a New Hampshire rest stop I drive by often, and I always think of this. She went to the vending machines, and a guy got out of his truck, stabbed her 9 times, and then left. She got in her car and drove herself home, and he followed her the whole way, and she lived. Every time I drive by this friggin' rest stop in New Hampshire, I think I'm like, they're vending
Is it one
machines.
of the ones on 95?
Yes.
Of course it is.
And it's like the same vending machines basically that are still there.
Amazing. This was in the 94 issue that I was looking at. This is an ad that was in there for Unsolved Mysteries, just so people know what we're dealing with. Prehistoric man trapped in ice. Secret CIA suicide pact.
Same thing. And they'd be like, oh, it's all exactly the same level of real. 100%. Yeah, it made no sense.
It's like rapists or cryptids.
Yeah. It was like, is Ogopogo real? And then it would be like the one where the guy went to buy a computer and the guy who tried to sell it to him beat him to death with a hammer. That was an episode of Unsolved Mysteries. It was like, what? Ogopogo and a hammer death are in the same episode. Yeah.
This guy got hammer murdered.
Yes. 876-5353.
What a delight.
Yeah. So that is the week, but Alex, as you know, TV Guide is not just informative. It has opinions. So to close out here, I'd like to read you the cheers and jeers of this week, June 27th to July 3rd, 1992. Let's see if we agree or disagree. I always love cheers and jeers. It gets super bitchy and weird. It's unsigned, so they could be pretty anonymous here. This is an unusually cheer-heavy week. They're usually pretty negative, but we have 3 cheers and 1 jeer. So we start with a cheers. Cheers and 2 thumbs up to the summer edition of TNT's Our Favorite Movie series. Currently running on Thursdays at 10 p.m., the collection of 13 screen gems features an innovative twist. Intros provided by some of the film's biggest celebrity fans. The pairings alone are priceless. Cheers and jeers fave Sandra Bernhard does the honors for 1968's Funny Girl, starring Barbara Streisand, as songbird comedian Fanny Bryce. Wayne Newton for 1964's Elvis and Margaret romance Viva Las Vegas, and Geraldo Rivera for the 1969 whodunit Anatomy of a Murder. Best of all, perhaps, are Gonzo magicians Penn and Teller, who deliciously decimate Cecil B. DeVille's 1952 over-the-top Big Top tribute, The Greatest Show on Earth, referring to the grease-painted killer played by Jimmy Stewart as, quote, Buttons the Euthanasia Clown.
Well, I agree.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
That sounds incredible. Anything, God, I mean, we're talking about some heroes in here already. I know you already talked about Penn and Teller, obviously. Like, for me, as a kid who has a confusing relationship with both their sexuality and various identities, Sandra Bernhard was everything.
Awesome. Yeah.
Sandra Bernhard. When I saw Sandra Bernhard pop up in Marty Supreme next to Fran Drescher, I was like,
yeah.
Thank you.
Her on Roseanne, like,
oh God, her Fred Willard, Martin Mull.
Yep.
Goddamn everything to me. Do you know about Martin Mull's history as a folk singer in Boston?
No.
Yeah, so at Club Passim, which is where a lot of my friends play now, used to be Club 47, and that was a big folk place. And Mull did like many dates there. He'd do like stand up because he was also, like Steve Martin, a banjo player.
That makes sense. There was no
go
comedy
and do his whole
scene
thing there. Yeah. There was a whole folk comedy thing there.
Billy Connolly used to come and do a bunch of the folk clubs here, basically doing stand up because there was no. That makes sense. I didn't know that.
I love it.
I met Fred Willard once. I did the Riot LA Comedy Festival, and I told the story about my dad. And I was talking to people backstage, and they were like, "Oh, that dad story." And Fred Willard goes, "Is somebody casting a dad?" And it was the perfect, most Fred Willard comment. It was like the best. I was like, "Thank you, Fred Willard."
That is so perfect. I just said on the show recently, can't remember what we're talking about at this point. Oh, Spinal Tap. That like my biggest regret for all of the time I've spent in LA is I had so many times to go to his theater and see it, and I didn't. And it feels like
he's going to be around forever. Those guys, you never.
How would he not be? He's been around my whole life. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Cheers to cable's efforts to encourage election year enthusiasm. MTV Lifetime and American Movie Classics are bombarding viewers with everything from public service announcements to big-name special events designed to fight apathy and increase registration. It seems to us like the perfect marriage of democracy and technology. Cable's outreach to specific demographic groups, MTV's young adults, Lifetime's women, allows for messages with targeted appeal. We're placing Cable's all-out get-out the vote campaign on the ballot as a surefire winner. This is interesting because this was when Rock the Vote started on MTV.
Yeah, totally. I like fine.
It totally got Clinton. That's why Clinton got elected, basically.
I just read I was at a Airbnb with my family, and so obviously I looked at the bookshelf and found a book and read half of it, and it was the oral history of Lollapalooza.
Oh, wow.
And I feel like that was 91, I think, and it was supposed to be it was supposed to be a festival goodbye to Jane's Addiction, and their whole thing, I think that they were like, at least on the MTV front in this, like kind of instrumental in a lot of that, because like their whole thing was a real social libertarian thing. That, I think like Perry probably leans like progressive, but they would have a midway at each of the events, and they would invite like pro-choice people and then the NRA be like, have it out. And so I remember that very much being sort of like in the air, and these like having these, that being a part of this. And then right down to like a couple years later where Nickelodeon would be doing like, in 88, Nickelodeon had their whole like call-in vote for Dukakis or whatever. Yeah. But in like later on, they would have stuff about like, just like general like save the environment. And this whole thing where it was like training you not to have an ideology, but to at least participate was very of this time. Yeah,
it was never telling you what to do, but it's like, we're going to give you all the information. Michael Dukakis was my speech and rhetoric professor at Northeastern.
That's amazing.
It's very weird. Then we have our only jeer. Jeers to that little something extra you get when upcoming 50th anniversary edition of Casablanca is on home video. A coffee commercial, Taster's Choice, has struck a deal with MGM UA Home Video to include an ad at the beginning of the tape. The contents are top secret, but we do know that it will be one of those charming neighbor scenarios. The spots featuring the happy caffeinated couple who keep dropping in on each other for coffee. Put Putting commercials on home video releases is nothing new, of course, but that doesn't make it any more acceptable. All we can say is that if bean heads at Taster's Choice think they'll make any fans of film buffs by defiling a classic, they better wake up and smell the... Well, you get the idea.
Oh, wow. Good
That's
little
an
switcheroo there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I hate it.
How did they even hear about that? You're telling me they're putting an ad on the home videotape of Casablanca? Like, where would that even... How would you hear about that? Let alone be mad.
Where did they get that information?
Like, it's around, I heard it on the street. Everyone's talking about it.
That's so
Taster's
perfect.
Choice.
Yeah, I know. It's like, whatever. Fuck it.
Who cares? Fast forward.
Less commercials is
tape.
great. Yeah. Also, just who cares? Like, it's not in the movie.
No. And they're not like using CG to make Humphrey Bogart be like, Taster's Choice, kid, or whatever. Like, you just deal with it. Cheers, finally, to CBS for allowing Charles Osgood to sleep a little later. For almost 6 years now, Osgood has been up with the sun, anchoring the CBS morning news at 6:30 a.m., filling his twice-a-week Osgood reports on CBS This Morning at 7, and working on CBS Radio. At Osgood's request, CBS is relieving him of the morning news grind, and he couldn't be happier. He's continuing to do radio and deliver his reports, and maybe, just maybe, he'll even be able to stay up in bed a tad longer. We suppose we'll just have to do the same. Okay.
Good for him.
Yeah, that's a weird... This was a light week. They were like mad about a Taster's Choice commercial and like, Charles Osgood gets to sleep late. That's great. Like, my God. Well, thank you so much for doing this. This was a lot of fun. And thank you for doing 2 guides, even though you didn't have to.
Oh, God. If anyone has any questions about what was going on in September of 1994 in television, I am ready. But this was a blast. I had so much fun, and it was fun talking to a fellow Boston suburb guy.
Yeah, we're the Malden, Medford, Melrose contingent.
That's beautiful. Thanks. I really had a great time. Thanks so much.
There you go. They're okay. There was nothing to be alarmed about. I was not being ushered away by a fascist government yet. And even if I was, I don't know if the dogs would protect me, but, they'd try. Anyway, on to less dark things. That was Alex. What a good dude. Awesome dude. Listen to his podcast. Check out everything he does. Love talking to him. Love to have him back on sometime. Super fun guy. And, if you have guests you'd like to have on me to try to get on the show, at least, you can email me at tvguidance@gmail.com or ken@kenread.com, as I said before. Message me on social media or on the Patreon, and I will do my best to get them on the show. But in the meantime, I'll be here next week, and I hope you will too, for a brand new edition of TV Guidance Counselor.
Must be nice, Jay.